Both the Browns and the Jags had memorable games in Week 10. Eric Mangini has been creative, finding ways to match up against some of the most talented teams in the league. And on the other sideline, Jack Del Rio, he started to jump out on the pile and celebrate the Hail Mary last week, but the official stopped him and told him it would be a penalty if he did. He said, I just wanted to go out there and have some fun. But a big victory last week for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They won the toss, but they've deferred to the second half, so Cleveland will have the football to start the game. Josh Scobie set to kick it off, and we are underway. Taken on the first hop by Clifton Smith, just signed this week. And Smith brings it out to the 22-yard line. Colt McCoy, the rookie, brings out the Browns on offense, and Rich, the young man, has been outstanding. He's gone 71 straight passes without an interception.
Well, Bill, I think when you sit down with Colt McCoy, you find out pretty quickly that the game is important to him. It's a priority. I think that's critical when you're deciding on who your quarterback is going to be, because if he's not the hardest working guy in the building, you have no chance. And something tells me Colt McCoy is heading in that direction.
1st and 10 from the 22-yard line, just underway here in Jacksonville. Hillis, the deep back. Stuckey was in motion. Play action. McCoy to Hillis. Nice little spin move and out across the 30, close to the 31-yard line. Justin Durant made the stop. Browns offensive line has done a nice job. Alex Mack, in his second season, has become one of the best centers in the league. Joe Thomas at left tackle hasn't missed a Pro Bowl. Backs and receivers. Peyton Hillis has just lit it up. You can't say enough about what he's meant to this Cleveland offense. Watson at tight end has been a favorite for Colt McCoy. Pickup of 9 on first down, 2nd and 1 for Cleveland. Step drop, quick out, Stuckey, and he has a first down. Here's the Jacksonville defense up front. They're young. Aaron Campman is out for the year, so they'll go with Mincy and Lane at the defensive ends. The linebackers are athletic and active. Morrison in the middle, Smith and Durant on the outside. The secondary has been a problem for Jacksonville. Rashean Mathis is the veteran. He'll take some chances, but they're young at safety. Carey, by the way, was originally a 6th-round pick by the Browns last year. So 1st and 10, opening possession for Cleveland from their own 35-yard line. High formation. McCoy will throw again up the sideline. Up for grabs and almost picked off. Mathis was in perfect position but couldn't bring it in.
Well, I think that it's interesting when you talk with Brian Dable. They have to come out here and break some tendencies today and throw the ball a little bit on first down. Very nice job up top by Rashean Mathis. He's right there in position. A better throw might get this done. You can't underthrow the go route, but Rashean Mathis, very smart and productive corner.
Massaquoi was the intended receiver, so 2nd and 10. Hillis. Men at the line of scrimmage and stopped. Austin Lane was the first one there.
Well, this is what they have to be able to do. The big question with Jacksonville, can they stop the run with their front 7? I think that's really where it all starts. And if not, you have to get these safeties involved. But look at the get off up front. Nice linebacker. Tackles for losses are huge.
So 3rd and long for Cleveland. 3rd and 10. Just short of their own 35-yard line. McCoy back in the shotgun. Showing blitz, they only rush 3. Screen set up to Hillis. And Hillis, extra effort, but he'll still be well short of a first down. Larry Hart made the stop.
Well, the linebackers make a lot of plays in this Jacksonville defense. You think about Darrell Smith, Kurt Morrison, Justin Durant. They're 1, 2, and 3 in tackles. And that's how this defense is set up.
Mike Thomas averaging 10 yards a return. Back deep for Jacksonville. Hodges with the punt. There'll be a return from the 15. Thomas trying to get to the outside. He's got speed and he's loose. Nice return out to the 38-yard line. Chris Gokong made the stop, a 45-yard punt and a 23-yard return. Jacksonville will go to work when we come back. We're back, and Jacksonville looking for their 3rd straight win and 5th in their last 7 games. Their opening possession from their own 38-yard line. Garrard in the pocket, plenty of time, up deep, flag on the play, and incomplete. Zach Miller was the intended receiver. But there's a flag back at the 40-yard line.
A little hesitation there by Zach Miller. Bill, if he kept running, he might have made that play.
Prior to the pass, holding, number 21, defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Pete Morelli, our referee today, that was on Eric Wright, and teams have come after him this season, starting with the Baltimore Ravens when Bolden caught 3 touchdown passes, and he was on Santonio Holmes for the game-winning touchdown last week against the Jets.
Well, you're going to get picked on if you're Eric Wright, Bill. He's given up a number of big plays, as you said, and I just think his confidence right now. You watch the film, he's a guy that's playing off. He's giving you a lot of underneath stuff. He does not want to get beat deep.
Offset eye. Maurice Jones-Drew, nice hole, and into Cleveland territory, churning those legs for a first down. David Garrard, a quarterback for Jacksonville, and Rich, he comes in as the top-rated passer in the AFC, 4-1 in his last 5 starts.
We talked about it in the open, Bill, how well he's played in the last 5 weeks. I think he's playing some of the best football of his career, and with Maurice Jones-Drew starting to heat up, I think this offense is capable of carrying this team right now.
And there's a player down on the field. It's Eric Wright from the Browns. Back with more from Jacksonville in a moment. Eric Wright was helped from the field, and Joe Hayden, the rookie first-round pick out of Florida, 7th overall pick in this year's draft, has come in to replace him. Browns already thin at defensive back. Now we've got a timeout on the field as they clear the field, and Eric Wright obviously in pain over on the Cleveland sideline.
Well, you're right, Bill. You remember Sheldon Brown went out last week with a stinger. Mike Adams is not active today. He can play corner and safety. Eric King is up, a guy that they just signed, so they are thin in the secondary at the corner position.
The 45-yard line, quick strike. Maurice Jones-Drew trying to get him in space, and he gets down inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. The offensive line for Jacksonville has really stepped up. Manuwai has done a nice job since taking over at left guard. Jordan Black has replaced Evan Britton, who's on IR. Backs and receivers, Mike Sims-Walker out today with the ankle. Maurice Jones-Drew, 100 yards and a couple of touchdowns last week against Houston. Mike Thomas caught the Hail Mary, and he's Jacksonville's leading receiver. 2nd and 4. Nice opening drive for Jacksonville. Maurice Jones-Drew powers forward just inside the 35-yard line. Ataba Rubin led the charge to stop him. And let's take a look now at Gannon's MVPs, most valuable points.
Well, Bill, we talked about David Garrard. He's been really solid the last 4 weeks, but he has to convince me that this past month was no fluke. He needs to play well for Jacksonville to make the playoffs. And likewise for Colt McCoy, who has really played well in his first 4 starts. We keep waiting for him to make those rookie mistakes, but so far he's been really steady. Both teams are counting on their quarterbacks the rest of the way.
The Browns have not allowed their opponents to score a touchdown on an opening drive in their last 22 games. The field goal by the Jets last week was the first time they gave up any points on an opening drive all season. Maurice Jones-Drew bottled up and driven out of bounds at the 33-yard line by Coleman and Barton.
Well, he's the centerpiece of this offense. I mean, we know he's a fantastic runner. The thing that I like about him is he doesn't go down easily. He's got great balance. We talk about the low center of gravity. He runs with power. And pound for pound, I really believe he's one of the toughest players in the league.
2nd and 7 already. 3 carries for 19 yards. Came in averaging over 4 yards a carry, 745 yards on the season, 5 touchdowns, 3 on the ground, and 2 receiving. Garrard under pressure and sacked. Kenyon Coleman, the former Jet, his 2nd sack of the season.
Well, they're very big up front. You look at Kenyon Coleman, Ataba Rubin, they get good push. You're going to see Coleman right up inside. He just gets the push, and then he's going to spin off and work back around. David Garrard is sitting right there. The indecision sometimes gets David Garrard as you study him. This ball's got to come out. One hitch, two hitch. Can't give up sacks in this part of the field.
So 3rd and 13 after the sack. Ball is back at the Cleveland 38-yard line. They have to get to the 25 for a first down. They run the screen to Rashad Jennings. Jennings will be short of a first down. Tackled at the 29-yard line by Eric King.
Well, it's a positive play. Gets them back in field goal range. And they are a very good screen team. And the reason why is they have two good backs that are patient, but an offensive line that's very athletic that can get out in front and make some big blocks down the field.
So Josh Scobie will come on to try a 47-yard field goal coming off a tough week, missing his first 2 field goal tries of the season after making 14 straight. On its way, plenty of leg and good. So the Jacksonville Jaguars are on the board first. 8:08 left to go in the first. 3-0 Jacksonville. Views from above Everbank Field here in Jacksonville. Gorgeous day. Temperature expected to get up around 80 degrees. Josh Scobie just had the 47-yard field goal, set to kick it off to Clifton Smith, just signed this week. Former Pro Bowl return man for Tampa Bay back in 2008. 3-0 Jags. Smith from the 7. Late flag as Smith gets it out to the 26-yard line. Sean Considine made the tackle.
During return, holding. During return, illegal block in the back. Number 54, receiving team. After this is the goal, first down.
Call it on Blake Costanzo. So Colt McCoy will go back to work when we return to Jacksonville, Florida. You're watching the NFL on CBS. We're back, and Cleveland cornerback Eric Wright has been taken from the field. He has a knee injury, and his return is questionable after the penalty. Spotted all the way back at the Cleveland 8-yard line, so a long field for Colt McCoy and company. Hillis bangs his way close to the 11. Terrence Knighton made the stop. Pot roast. He has been a big factor in clogging up the middle for the Jags against the run.
Well, when you think about this Jacksonville defense, Bill, they rebuilt that entire defensive line. They carry 11 defensive linemen on the active roster, and 9 of them were not with the team a year ago. And I think this group really has to lead the way and set the tone today against this power running game.
2nd and 7. Hillis, little stutter step, such a patient runner. Gets it out across the 17 to the 18-yard line. Justin Durant made the tackle.
Well, you mentioned his patience, Bill, and his ability to wind runs back, I think, is huge. And you see that a lot with Peyton Hillis. They run this zone scheme. Good job kicking out by the fullback, Lawrence Vickers, but he's always falling forward at the end of the runs. And you think of a guy like Peyton Hillis, he's big, he's strong, he's powerful, but he's got enough speed to bounce runs to the edge.
3rd and 1. Hillis rushed for 82 yards and a touchdown last week against the Jets after putting 184 on New England in Week 9. Hillis upended, but he has the first down to the 19-yard line. Courtney Green, the strong safety, was the first man there.
Well, they've been one of the best teams in football in 3rd and 2 or less. Short yardage and goal line situations, they've been outstanding. A big reason why is that man right there, Peyton Hillis. And that offensive line, Bill, I think they've been outstanding this year. They've really played well the last 5 or 6 weeks, particularly in the running game. They're getting great movement at the point, and they're moving people off the line of scrimmage, and that's how you run the ball with some success in this business.
2nd possession for the Cleveland Browns. 1st and 10 from their own 19. Empty backfield.
Corner blitz.
McCoy gets rid of it. Massaquoi fighting for extra yardage. And finally brought down at about the 27-yard line. And let's take a look now at Gannon's film study and Colt McCoy.
Well, this was great to see last week. I thought this was a wild play, and it got my attention at a critical time in the game to drive in the score and send the game into overtime. Great recognition by the young quarterback. Senses all-out blitz, changes the protection, keeps the tight end in, signals the receivers, and winds up throwing a dart to his backup tight end, Evan Moore, who just happens to be covered by Terrell Revis, the game's best corner. Great anticipation, great execution at a critical time in the game. Not something we normally see from a rookie quarterback.
And concern for the Browns because Ben Watson, who's so key in this Cleveland offense, being helped to his feet.
Well, they can't afford to lose Ben Watson, Bill. He's their leading receiver right now. He's been fantastic in the middle of the field. He and Colt McCoy have been on the same page. That's when push comes to shove and Colt McCoy gets in trouble, the first person he looks for is his tight end, Ben Watson.
So Evan Moore comes in, and we'll probably see more of Robert Royal now, who had one catch for 14 yards last week against the Jets. We'll update you on Watson's situation as soon as we have the information. 2nd and 2. Hillis. It looks like he has the first down, awfully close.
I think the offensive coordinator here in Cleveland, Brian Daboll, has done an outstanding job with this young quarterback. And he's done a good job keeping defenses off balance. You think about how they started. Jacksonville has worked all week and talked about stopping the running game and Peyton Hillis. And what does Cleveland do? They start the game with 3 straight passes. And I think when you run the ball as well as the Browns are, there are going to be some opportunities in the passing game on the early downs. That's something they have to take advantage of.
They do move the chains. Again, from the shotgun. Empty backfield for the Browns. McCoy. Incomplete. And that was intended for Robert Royal. That's a pass that normally would go to Ben Watson.
Well, you talk about the comfort level, the timing and the rhythm in the passing game. Ben Watson out, Robert Royal in, and you can see they just missed him a little bit.
Watson on the sideline, came in, as you said, as the Browns' leading receiver, 36 catches for 434 yards and 2 touchdowns. 2nd and 10 for Cleveland. Jaguars out to the early lead on a 47-yard field goal by Josh Scobie. Hillis trying to get to the edge. Out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Derek Cox drove him out of bounds after a nice pickup, but that'll bring up 3rd and 5.
Well, you think of Peyton Hillis, as I told you earlier, he's not just an inside runner. Very good speed, and he's willing to bounce runs to the edge. This one by design. Can't tell you how impressed I've been with Peyton Hillis, Bill. Not just as a runner, he's a very good receiver as well. We saw him a couple plays earlier. They're willing to put him out there as a wide receiver and let him go to work on some linebackers and safeties.
Offset eye on 3rd and 5. Josh Cribbs didn't make the trip. Watson is on the sideline. They dump it out to Hillis. He's got a nice gain and a first down. Driven out of bounds by Rasheed Mathis. Good for 12 yards to Hillis.
Well, they do a nice job. They're actually going to pull the center and the guard, get him out in front. Peyton Hillis, he's just going to go out here wide. They run a little screen. But watch the center. He gets out in front, as does the right guard, and they do a nice job just getting some presence on some linebackers and safeties. But Peyton Hillis, again, Bill, getting him the ball in space and letting him go to work.
They spotted at the 47-yard line. 9th play of the drive coming up. Started at the Cleveland 8. Again, Hillis pops through to the 49-yard line. Smith and Durant combined to make the stop. Darrell Smith, Jacksonville's 2nd all-time leading tackler. He moved past Mike Peterson last week, just behind Donovan Darius.
I think the key for Jacksonville, they need to get a lot of hats to the ball carrier. You're not going to be able to make a living with solo tackles on a back like Peyton Hillis. You need to gang tackle him. We talked with Rasheed Mathis the other day. He said, you know, we see maybe 1 or 2 backs like this a year, a downhill power runner with size and speed. We have to get a lot of people to the ball.
2nd and 7, trying to avoid the loss Picks up one. Good penetration that time by Jacksonville.
And that's a positive play. You mentioned penetration, Bill. That's really important. You know, force a big back like Peyton Hillis to run east and west and not north and south.
That got it into Jacksonville territory, but will bring up third down. 3rd and 6 for Cleveland. 13th meeting between the Browns and the Jaguars. Jacksonville leads the overall series 8-4, but the Browns have won 3 of the last 4, including the final game of last season in Cleveland, 23-17. Looking to convert another third down here. They come on the blitz. Stuckey. And there's a flag back at the 43-yard line. Middleton made the stop on Stuckey.
There are fouls by both teams on the play. Holding. Number 66, offense. Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Number 94, defense. Penalties will offset. Third down.
Roughing the passer on Jeremy Mincy, and Sean Laval called for the hold, the right guard.
Well, Smith starts, and you're going to see Mincy coming here right at the end. That's not necessary, and they'll call that every time. And got to be a smart football team. The team is in position now at 4-5. I mentioned this division. You can't count out Jacksonville in the AFC South. They've already beat Indy and Houston. I think this division's up for grabs, but you got to play smart football down the stretch.
Bunch formation at the top of the screen on 3rd and 6. Browns will get another chance to convert it. Here they come on the blitz. McCoy gets rid of it. That's caught by Stuckey, and a nice pickup. Another first down for Cleveland. Mathis and Cox combined to make the stop.
Well, they do a really nice job. It all starts with protection. You're just going to see Stuckey. He's going to come back out and work right back in the middle of the field. Good protection there. Colt McCoy makes a nice throw. Not the tallest quarterback, sees over those big offensive linemen, but he puts it in the position where his receiver can get into the transition of the run.
Sean Considine was there as well, and that was good for 16 yards. That's the third down conversion on this drive. 4 wide receivers. They bring Hillis back in. Here they come with the corner blitz. McCoy sacked. Terrence Knighton and Darrell Smith.
Boy, Knighton has really played well in the middle of that defense, and you're going to see they bring the corner off the edge. They're going to pick it up, but it forces Colt McCoy to step up inside. See, the tackle swings back outside, and Peyton Hillis a little late there getting up in there on Smith, but Knighton, he has really played well. He gets good push on the pocket, and of course, he's a monster in the run defense.
His second year out of Temple, 3rd round pick in 09. He started every game. He came in with 3.5 sacks, and with Aaron Campman out, that leads the Jaguars. And a half sack there, and the movement before the snap. False start.
78, offense, 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
John St. Clair, the right tackle, missed 5 games with an ankle injury before coming back last week in a reserve role, starting today at right tackle.
Well, we talked about missed assignments, the mental errors, and the penalties. You see right there, 52 penalties this season. That's really a hallmark of an Eric Mangini coach team. Smart, disciplined, tough players that don't make a lot of mistakes.
Let the clock run out, so that's the end of the first quarter. Our score, Jacksonville 3, Cleveland nothing. We'll return to Jacksonville after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Ready to start the second quarter here in Jacksonville, and good news for the Cleveland Browns as Ben Watson is back in the ball game, number 82. Second down from the Jacksonville 44-yard line. 12 plays in this drive so far. It consumed the last 8 minutes of the first quarter. McCoy, so rushed 4. Plenty of time. Goodness gracious, he'll take off and run it. Down inside the 35 to the 34-yard line. Durant made the tackle along with Larry Hart. And coming up on the Sprint halftime report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights from Week 11. It's all coming up on the Sprint halftime report.
Well, you mentioned that great protection, and I think that's been part of the problem in Jacksonville, lack of a consistent pass rush. They certainly miss Aaron Campman. Derek Harvey has been a disappointment. He lost his starting job. They don't have a dominant pass rusher right now along that front.
From the 34-yard line, safety blitz. McCoy gets rid of it, and somehow that's caught by Massaquoi. It looked like it might be intercepted.
Well, they're going to bring pressure up the top of the screen, and fire zones, you're going to see linebackers and safeties drop. We talk about not fighting, dropping zone defenders, but it's a nice job getting it over the top of the safety, Considine.
Considine had a beat on it, so McCoy back to the air. Evan Moore. This has been an impressive drive by the Cleveland Browns. Close to the 10-yard line.
You better account for the tight ends in the passing game. You chart the throws for Cleveland, and that's where the ball goes. It's either Watson, who leads the team in receptions, or Evan Moore, and the quarterback loves to work at the middle of the field with these tight ends. Evan Moore is getting a lot more snaps, not only as a tight end, but also out wide as a receiver.
We expected the Browns to come out and run the football, but they've thrown a lot, challenging this Jacksonville secondary. Watson is the motion man on 2nd and 1. Play action. McCoy tries to get free. Gets it out to Hillis. Peyton Hillis. Touchdown. How in the world did he do that? What a play by Colt McCoy, the rookie.
Well, he lost his play sheet. You're going to see him run back on the field. They fell out of his wristband. But, Bill, we talk about escapability and how important it is for a quarterback to be able to extend plays with your legs. He keeps this just great alert play, kicks the ball to Peyton Hillis. But, boy, you got to give the young quarterback a lot of credit, poised in a very difficult situation.
It looked like Larry Hart was going to have a sack, but somehow McCoy was able to escape. Dawson with the extra point. He boots it through, and the Cleveland Browns drive just about the length of the field. 92 yards for a touchdown. It took just under 10 minutes. McCoy to Hillis for the score. (7-3) Cleveland, a 16-play drive. They were 4 of 4 on 3rd down, and Peyton Hillis had 9 touches, including the touchdown, as Colt McCoy escaped the pressure and was able to get the ball to him. Underwood still on his feet. Out to the 18-yard line. So David Garrard and the Jags will take the field. 13:03 left to go in the half. Only the 2nd possession of the game for the Jacksonville Jaguars as they start at their own 18-yard line. Garrard on the short drop, out route. Kasim Osgood. Nice second effort and a flag on the play. We might have a late hit. Joe Hayden made the stop.
Flag down. Personal foul. Grabbing the inside of the helmet, number 23, the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And they call it on Hayden. Eric Mangini is not happy.
You're going to see Joe Hayden at the top of your screen on Osgood. A little simple out route, good throw by Garrard. Now watch here at the end, just trying to make a tackle on the boundary. Boy, I don't know about that. He does grab the back of the helmet. There it is. Can't do that.
So they spot it at the Jacksonville 44-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Jaguars. Take the reverse. They give it to Moose Jones-Drew up the middle, churning his legs. Gets it out to the 49-yard line.
Well, you go back and look at the touchdown, Bill. I always say there's going to be 3 or 4 plays in every game where things break down around you. A receiver falls down, a lineman misses a block. And what really has to happen in this situation is that the quarterback has to keep his poise. And I think that this is what separates the good quarterbacks from the great ones. And I think that this is just a really resourceful play, kicking the ball to Peyton Hillis and letting him score. Nice job there by the young quarterback.
Big baby Sean Rogers has checked in for Cleveland. Maurice Jones-Drew, little stutter step and into Cleveland territory. Eric Barton made the tackle. Maurice Jones-Drew looking for his third straight 100-yard game, but the coaches have been challenging him and the offensive line to try to get to 150. That's become a battle cry at practice for Maurice and the O-line.
Well, he has to be the workhorse. And you mentioned career highs a year ago in attempts and rushing yards and touchdowns. Was also second leading receiver. We know he can do it all, but I think he needs to be more involved in this offense, not just in the running game, but the pass game as well. Screens on early downs.
You saw Rob Ryan on the sideline. He can mix it up with that Cleveland defense. Garrard gets rid of it. It's being bobbled and incomplete. Mercedes Lewis couldn't haul it in.
Well, it's very important to see out in front of throws, and David Garrard there never sees the linebacker, Eric Barton. To see the crossing route. He's going to work back across the formation, but keep an eye right here on Eric Barton. You have to see out in front of throws, particularly when it's man-to-man coverage.
So that'll bring up fourth down, and we'll see Adam Podlish standing back at his own 39-yard line. Clifton Smith is the deep man for Cleveland. Josh Cribbs did not make the trip. Fair catch made at the 19-yard line. A 29-yard punt. And the Browns will go back to work when we return. And we're back with the Browns leading it 7-3. Take a look at time of possession. More than double here in the early going for Cleveland. From their own 19-yard line. McCoy rolling out. Guns it. Massaquoi. And out of bounds. Incomplete. Now let's check in with JB in New York for an update.
All right, Bill McAtee, after spotting Tennessee a 7-0 lead, McNabb answers back, capping an 8-play, 79-yard drive. Second and goal, 5-yard strike to Santana Moss, and it's all tied at 7 in the second. Back to Bill McAtee and Rich Gannon.
All right, the Titans come in 5-4. Washington trying to recover from that thumping against the Eagles. 2nd and 10 for Cleveland. Hillis. Hole on the left side to the 23-yard line. Darrell Smith made the tackle. Let's take a look at that last drive.
Well, I was really impressed with Colt McCoy, Bill. Just the patience, his ability to pull the ball out and make some plays. Good job getting it over the safety. And this play right here, I can't say enough about his resourcefulness, his ability to extend plays and not keep it still keep his eyes downfield. He's got to keep it going here now in the second quarter.
3rd and 6 after that 16-play drive that went 92 yards and resulted in a touchdown. McCoy to Hillis. He's got great hands. It's still on his feet. Peyton Hillis finally driven out of bounds. Good hands and great speed for a big man, and a big play for the Cleveland Browns, 47 yards.
Well, we talked about his ability as a receiver out in the backfield. Now watch how he catches this ball. He catches it away from his body with his hands. He breaks a tackle, and now he's always a tough tackle in the open field.
And the one thing you kept hearing is you can't arm tackle this guy, Rich, and Derek Cox found that out the hard way.
Yeah, he'll run right through it. He uses that stiff arm very well. You've got to take him down low. Talk about gang tackling is the key against Peyton Hillis.
Browns are on the move again. In the Jacksonville 30, Hillis tripped up, falls forward for a pickup of 1. And once again, let's send you back to New York and JB with an update.
Bill and Rich, Rashard Mendenhall, 8th rushing touchdown of the season. This one a 5-yarder banging into the end zone. That capped a 14-play, 85-yard drive. Pittsburgh on top of Oakland by 4 in the second. Bill and Rich.
All right, JB, thank you. The Raiders coming off a bye week, but they've been on fire, averaging 38 points a game in winning their last 3. Mike Bell has checked in for the Browns. He's the lone setback. McCoy trying to set up the screen, now flush from the pocket. Not sure what he was doing there. Neither did Terrence Knighton, who almost had an interception, was thinking pick six.
Hot roast. Well, they had a screen called, and the play there for Colt McCoy is to throw it in the ground. Throw it at the feet of the back of lineman downfield.
It's against Cleveland.
Pass interference. Number 80, the offense. 10-yard penalty still, second down.
Call that on Robisky.
He's probably blocking downfield. That ball was thrown. Good look at Brian Dable, the offensive coordinator. You look at that play sheet there. You asked him yesterday whether he cut back on the volume. He said absolutely not. They have about 160 plays in the game plan this week, runs and passes, and that's quite a few. I think it speaks volumes of Colt McCoy's ability to retain a lot of information in a very short period of time. He's a very smart quarterback.
So they move it all the way back, close to the 40, just inside, 2nd and 19. The delay to Hillis. Such a powerful runner. Durant made the tackle.
Well, you're seeing some blitzes and some pressures from Jacksonville on some of these early downs. I think they're run pressures to try and stop Colt McCoy.
Third and 13. Costly penalty against the Browns, who are on the move. Cleveland leading it 7-3. Just under 8.5 minutes remaining in the half. McCoy back in the shotgun. Here they come on the blitz. Lofts it up. Miscommunication, incomplete. Massacroix was running the deep out route, and McCoy thought he was going to the corner. So 4th down for Cleveland.
Well, you have two young players, and those you mentioned, some miscommunication there. They bring pressure, and Colt McCoy is thinking that Mohamed Massacroix is going to go deep. He winds up running the out route.
So Dawson on to try a long field goal, 51 yards. He made a 58-yarder in the pregame. Came in with 13 straight. On its way. No good. Just wide right. So no points for the Cleveland Browns. It remains 7-3 Browns. It's a beautiful day here in Jacksonville, and we want to thank the MetLife Blimp for providing aerial coverage of all the action here in Jacksonville. Look for the MetLife Blimp Snoopy 1 and Snoopy 2 when they pass through a town near you. The starting position for the Jacksonville Jaguars, only 47 total yards. This is just their 3rd possession. Garrard, deep drop, deep out. Mercedes Lewis with the catch in Cleveland territory. And we've got a flag on the play. We might have a face mask.
There is no foul on the play. Result of the play is a first down.
Pick up the flag. It's still a nice gain, and into Cleveland territory. They spot it at the 43-yard line. Good for 16 yards.
Well, just take a look at Mercedes Lewis, Bill. He's got everybody's attention. Very unusual for a man his size, 6'6", 275 pounds, to run as well as he does. Already 7 touchdowns after having just 7 in his first 4 seasons.
Such a weapon on 3rd down and in the red zone. They toss it back to Bruce Jones-Drew, who's going to throw! And intercepted! Abram Elam was waiting.
Well, Bill, we saw him working on this at practice on Friday, and Dirk Cutter, the offensive coordinator, said we got to hold our breath. The problem here is he never feels the safety on the backside. He's looking at the receiver the whole way. A little wobbly throw. Looks like one of mine back in the day, but Abram Elam right there to make the play on Mike Thomas.
Thomas was the intended receiver, but Elam was right there. Browns leading tackler a year ago, had a season high 8 tackles 2 weeks ago against New England, and a big turnover for Cleveland.
They really got to throw that ball downfield. Underthrows get you every time.
1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. Hillis up the middle. Brought down at the 24-yard line.
I think when everyone looks at Peyton Hillis, you start making comparisons. I think the first player that comes to mind is Mike Allstott, the old fullback from the Buccaneers. But I just think Peyton Hillis has more speed and better quickness in the hole. I think clearly he's a better receiver out of the backfield. But most people, when they look at Peyton Hillis, they automatically think of Mike Allstott.
He's the Browns' leading rusher and second leading receiver. He's made some big plays already today. 2nd and 6. Hillis will lose a couple. Cox and Durant combined to make the tackle. Well, with the new NFL.com mobile apps, you can stay in the game no matter where you are this holiday season. Go to NFL.com/mobile and download the apps today. Cleveland facing 3rd and long, 3rd and 8 for the Browns from their own 22-yard line. Browns have been good on 3rd down so far today, 5 of 7. Jacksonville showing blitz. Here they come off the corner. McCoy sacked. Larry Hart and Tyson Alu, the rookie out of Cal.
You're going to see Alu. He's right here. Just gets good push up inside, but it's the pressure that comes on the right side of the line that really forces Cleveland to shift. Alu, he just beats the center right up the field for the easy sack.
And that's 3.5 sacks for the rookie, the 10th overall pick in the draft. Hodges with the punt. Jags should have good field position. Thomas fields it on one hop and out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Eric King made the tackle. 5:23 left to go in the half. 7-3 Cleveland. What a day in Jacksonville here. The standings in the AFC South. The Jags feel like this is a pivotal game for them. They have a rough schedule going forward. They're at the Giants in Tennessee the next 2 weeks. Oakland here at home. The Raiders are the hottest team in the AFC right now in divisional games on the road in Indy and Houston in their final 3 to close out the season. They give it to Maurice Jones-Drew. Short gain on 1st down.
Well, Maurice Jones-Drew, I think he's as complete a player as his position as you'll find in the league. He does it all. Terrific runner, excellent in the passing game, very good hands. He's tough to bring down in the open field. The thing I like best, he'll swell up and stone a linebacker or a safety in the hole in pass protection. Not very big, but as tough as they come at the running back position.
Coming off his first Pro Bowl last season. 5 yards on 1st down. 3-step drop for Garrard. The slant and incomplete. That was intended for Tyquan Underwood.
Talk about drops. Right in his hand.
Underwood is playing because Mike Sims Walker is inactive today.
Well, this could have been a big play. Good throw here by David Garrard, and just takes his eyes off it just for a split second.
Underwood came in with 7 catches for 104 yards. 2nd year out of Rutgers. 7th round pick a year ago. 3rd and 5 for Jacksonville. From their own 37-yard line. Garrard steps up, fires, and that's caught. 1st down. Zach Miller, who caught a 52-yard touchdown pass last week for the Jags' longest play of the season.
He has really played well. You're just going to see him. He just goes up the field. He's going to run a little out route. But I liked what I saw when we watched him at practice on Friday. He's a big, tall player. Makes a lot of plays down the field. He's getting more and more looks each week with this offense.
Former college quarterback, a great athlete. 6th-round pick in 2009. Batted down, incomplete, intended for Mike Thomas.
They love those little bubble screens on 1st down.
2nd and 10. Jacksonville has been able to win close games this season. They've been outscored by 99 points in their 4 losses, but when the margin is 22 or less, They've won all 5 games, including 2 on the final play. The Hail Mary last week and the walk-off 59-yard field goal by Josh Scobie to beat the Colts. That's caught by Thomas, who's into Cleveland territory. Down at the 49-yard line. Rubin and Gokong combined to make the tackle.
Well, these are nothing more than perimeter runs for Jacksonville. He mentioned these bubble screens and these quick screens to the receivers. See the last one by Mike Thomas. They do a good job with the guards and tackles getting out in front of it, trying to get back in a manageable 3rd down.
Thomas coming off a monster game last week. 8 catches, including that Hail Mary, 149 yards on the day. Jacksonville on 3rd down. Garrard flush from the pocket. He's mobile and he has a 1st down. And that's the danger of David Garrard. He can run with the football.
Well, this is the one thing you can't account for from a defensive perspective. They're just going to rush 4. Good job by the offensive line giving David Garrard some time, but when it's not there, he does a nice job getting out on the perimeter and finding this 1st down. And he is a big, strong quarterback, not an easy guy to tackle. With a fullback in the open field.
And the Jags have now crossed midfield on all 4 possessions, but so far only 3 points. On 1st down, Reese Jones-Drew ducks under, powers his way forward. What a run. He is so tough. 5'7" Bowens made the tackle.
Bill, you mentioned the 5'7". I think it's hard for a defense sometimes to really track and locate a back like Maurice Jones-Drew. He's so small, he gets in behind that big offensive line, and next thing you know, he's coming out the other end. See him right there with Ernest Beinert, his running back coach, EB. Great running back in his own right.
So 1st and 10 for Jacksonville as we've reached the 2-minute warning. Jaguars are threatening. The Browns lead it 7-3. 8th play of the drive coming for Jacksonville. Shaq Jennings is the deep back. Play action for Garrard. For lots of time, finally runs out of it, and he'll have to throw it away.
David Garrard's pass is incomplete. 2nd down and 10.
1:52 left to go.
You go back and look at that, Bill. As they were running the play, I was watching downfield. You just watch David Garrard right at the top here as he gets ready to set his feet. Now freeze it. There's nowhere to throw it. Everybody is covered. They do a great job down the field, and David Garrard has nothing to do here but throw away and move on to another down. Nice job by that Cleveland secondary.
Rob Ryan, this chess match with Dirk Cutter, the offensive coordinator for Jacksonville. Jennings stays in the game, 2nd and 10. Short drop for Garrard. Mercedes Lewis, a nice pickup. Lewis has a 1st down for Jacksonville. Sheldon Brown made the stop.
And this is where he does most of his damage, Bill, in this part of the field. A little drag slant. You're going to see Mercedes Lewis on the ISO. He's just going to run a little shoot route. And, of course, once he gets the ball in his hands, he's not an easy tackle either at 6'7".
Big target, came in with 30 catches for 379 yards. 7 touchdowns this season. 1st and 10 for Jacksonville from the 16-yard line of Cleveland.
He's a big target in the red zone for David Garrard.
From the shotgun. Browns are showing blitz. They come off the edge. Sling it out to Thomas, keeps his feet, cuts it back inside, and is down to the 9-yard line. Eric King had the initial contact but couldn't bring him down. So timeout on the field. 1:14 left to go in the half. This Jones-Drew has checked back in. 2nd and 3, 1:14 left in the half.
Look at Rob Ryan. He's done an outstanding job, Bill, with this defense. Think about in year 2, seen a lot of improvement. I think they're better in just about every statistical category from a year ago.
Browns have, Rich, yielded only 2 rushing touchdowns all season. That's the fewest in the NFL. They've allowed only 1 100-yard rusher this season. Michael Turner of Atlanta gouged him for 140 back in week 5. But other than that, they've been solid against the run.
Well, they're big up front. I think it's hard to get movement in the middle of that defense. You think about Rubin at 330 and Rodgers at 350, Coleman at 300. The linebackers are big as well, so tough to get movement.
High formation. This Jones drew. Down to the 5. Matt Roth, the outside linebacker, was the first man there. 6th year out of Iowa. So 1st and goal for Jacksonville. Clock continues to run inside of a minute remaining in the half. Here's Jones Drew as the lone setback. Jacksonville with 2 timeouts remaining. They go play action to the end zone, incomplete. He was trying to hit Kasim Osgood.
Well, safe throw there.
David Garrard.
You can really, if you just look at David Garrard, you can almost tell by his footwork, Bill. If he's in timing, if he's in rhythm, and he's decisive, good things happen. It's the indecision. It's where he's taken the extra hitch. Go back and you track him over the years. Look at his bad throws and the interceptions. It's when indecision begins to creep into his game.
13th play of the drive coming. Clock stopped, 35 seconds remaining in the half. Garrard on the slant, caught, touchdown. Mike Thomas. And he had great position on Sheldon Brown.
A little big man, Mike Thomas. And this is so difficult to defend. A perfect throw and a perfect catch get it done. Just going to see Mike Thomas. He's just going to run the slant route, coming in from the top of your screen. Look where David Garrard puts that ball. Right on his inside number. Actually pretty good coverage there by Sheldon Brown.
Scobie with the extra point attempt. And good. And Jacksonville regains the lead. An impressive drive from the Jaguars. Garrard to Thomas on the slant for the touchdown. And with 30 seconds left in the half, they lead at 10-7. Jacksonville leads it 10-7, 30 seconds remaining in the half. Thomas, who's been on fire along with David Garrard, with the touchdown catch. How about the week for Thomas, coming off that monster game? Career high 8 catches, 149 yards, caught the Hail Mary, and he's also waiting to become a father for the first time, so he's got a lot on his mind. Bobbled at the 4-yard line by Smith. And brought down short of the 20 at the 18. Well, coming up next, what a marquee matchup. The NFL on CBS brings you the game you've been waiting for when the Colts and the Patriots ramp up their red-hot rivalry. That's the second game of our doubleheader. More people watch the NFL on CBS than any other network. And a couple of guys who come in with pretty good credentials.
There'll be a lot of fireworks in that one. There always is when those two get together. You know this, Tom Brady has won 24 straight regular season home starts at Foxborough. He is tough to beat at home.
Browns will be content to let the clock run out to end the first half. Eric Mangini doesn't look too happy. Down by 3. Good half for David Garrard and the Jags. Trying to win their 3rd straight. And that's the end of the first half. Our score: Jacksonville 10, Cleveland 7. Back with the Sprint halftime report after this message and a word from your local station.
Half huge for Jacksonville.
Well, the Browns have faced the toughest schedule in the NFL this season. 9 of their 10 opponents have winning records, and 6 of them are either leading or tied for the lead in their divisions. And that man has come up big this year for Cleveland. Tough physical runner with speed, came to the Browns in the Brady Quinn trade, which now looks like it was a home run for Cleveland. Jacksonville deferred to the second half, so they will have it to start the 3rd. Dawson ready to kick it off, And we are underway in the second half. High end over end kick taken by Underwood at about the 3. Antoine Underwood, who brings it out to the 27-yard line. Larry Hart made the stop, and let's take a look at the numbers, Rich, from the first half.
Well, really, you look at time of possession, it's amazing. You know, Cleveland really controlled that first half, and yet they're only able to score 7 points. And in fact, they went into the locker room down 3. You got to be asking themselves, what do they have to do better? Well, they be better in the red zone. They get opportunities, and of course, that guy there, David Garrard, as we talked about, Bill, he has played really well the last 5 weeks. They have to get more pressure on him in the second half.
From the 28-yard line, Maurice Jones-Drew bounces it to the outside, and nice pickup on first down for number 32. Joe Hayden drove him out of bounds. Jacksonville with a good last drive in the second half to get on the board and into the end zone.
It started with David Garrard picking up that first down with his legs. Of course, Maurice Jones-Drew finishing runs, getting the tight end involved, Mercedes Lewis, and of course, a great slant throw to Mike Thomas there for the touchdown before the half.
Their only points to that point was a 47-yard field goal by Josh Scobie. Greg Jones gets the call, and we've got a flag. Pete Morelli will sort things out for us.
Illegal motion. Number 80 of the offense. 5-yard penalty still. Second down.
Call that on Mike Thomas.
There's just really no reason for it, Bill. 2nd and 2. They're running a little inside belly play to the fullback. You have a penalty like that by Mike Thomas.
Zach Miller has checked in, so 2 tight ends for Jacksonville. Miller and Lewis, 2nd and 7. From the 31-yard line of the Jaguars. Just underway in the second half. Jacksonville leads it 10-7. Garrard under pressure, gets rid of it. And that was nearly picked off by Abram Elam, who already has an interception. The crowd wants a whistle. Thought he got to Zach Miller a little early.
That took too long to develop. I mean, just way too long. You're going to see Zach Miller. He comes in motion. Elam's done a nice job reading the quarterback's eyes. Good hit there, boy. That could have been a penalty. A hit to the head there. But watch this. Elam right there in the position to make a play. David Bowen's fortunate there. They didn't get a penalty.
Got the start today for Scott Fujita. He's made some big plays, including 2 interceptions that he returned for touchdowns in the win over New Orleans. 3rd and long, 3rd and 7 for Jacksonville. Garrard is under pressure, and he's going to be sacked. David Garrard sacked by Marcus Bernard, the undrafted linebacker out of Jackson State, who's become the Browns' best pass rusher.
Well, he leads the team right now in sacks, Bill. He's very good, and he just beats the tackle right off the get-go. I mean, he doesn't even have a chance. Jordan Black just caught stiff.
That's now 10 sacks in 15 career games for Marcus Bernard in his 2nd year out of Jackson State. So we'll see the punter, Adam Podlish, standing back at his own 13-yard line. Smith is the return man. Looking into the sun, makes the fair catch, and then takes off. They'll bring it back, and I think he got a little overly excited. They'll bring it back to the 36-yard line after a 39-yard punt. Opening possession of the second half for the Cleveland Browns. They'll start from their own 36-yard line. Colt McCoy, as the Jaguars come on the blitz, and he's got plenty of running room. McCoy with a hook slide, and there's a late flag down near the 40-yard line of the Jaguars. McCoy out to the 48 of Cleveland.
That's going to be against Jacksonville. Cleveland will decline that one.
Holding. Number 21 of the defense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That on the cornerback, Derek Cox. 2nd year out of William and Mary, a 3rd-round pick last year.
I always like quarterbacks that can make some plays with their legs, Bill, and move the chains that way. And you watch Colt McCoy the last month. He has shown that he has the ability to do that and avoid the rush as well.
Came in without an interception in his last 71 attempts against some pretty good defensive units Play action. The Jaguars are ready, and a loss on the play. And that was Jeremy Mincy, who took over as the starter when Aaron Campman was lost for the season.
Well, they talked about getting more production out of their defensive ends. You're going to see Mincy right at the top of your screen. He's not fooled at all by the action away. Does a nice job containing, and of course, he's right upfield to make the tackle on Colt McCoy. Not at all fooled by that action. He's got to stay home on the backside. They run that belly play so much to Peyton Hillis. His job is to contain that quarterback on the keeper.
And you saw the cast. He's playing with a broken bone in the back of his right hand. So 2nd and 21 for Cleveland. They run the screen to Hillis. Got some running room, leaps one man and upended. And he will make some athletic plays into Jacksonville territory, back about to the original line of scrimmage.
Well, he can do this because he's still a young player, but eventually you're going to get hurt doing this. And again, another screen. Peyton Hillis very good, and they get the lineman out in front. Mack runs well. Whoa! They got to be careful.
What a 250-pound guy who thinks he's one of the flying Wallendas.
With about a 38-inch vertical jump.
He didn't quite stick the landing, but a nice effort. 3rd and 10 now for the Browns. They trail 10-7 here in the 3rd. Jacksonville comes on the blitz, a short drop, the slant behind Massaquoi, and he couldn't pull it in.
That's one that Colt McCoy would like to have back. You can't miss the slant throw on the back shoulder. You're going to miss that when you miss it out in front.
So we'll see Reggie Hodges, the punter, 5th in the NFL with a 39.7 average. Came in leading the league with 11 punts inside the 10-yard line. And that is where Mike Thomas is stationed. Back at the 8. End over end. Thomas calls for the fair catch and makes it at the 9. 11:26 left to go in the 3rd. 10-7 Jacksonville after the 37-yard punt. Spectacular day here in Jacksonville. They spotted at the 10-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Jags. Here's Jones-Drew, nice hole. And the ball is on the ground. Let's see if they ruled he was down. And a touchdown. That's the signal. Touchdown Cleveland. Abram Elam.
Look, Abram Elam has been all over the field today.
Had an interception earlier. And apparently a fumble return for a touchdown.
Well, they get good movement up front. You see MJD here, he bounces it. Now right here, you see Elam, he's trying to strip it. He gets it out. He's the one that causes the fumble, then picks it up and runs it in for the touchdown. Just a good alert play by the veteran safety. Watch here as he comes in. Now watch that left arm. He starts grabbing at it and then he rips it. You can tell if his knee comes down there, it gets so dark with the shadow.
And some confusion on the Jacksonville sideline. They come out. They're apparently not going to challenge this, which is a little surprising. The extra point is good, and a stunning turnaround. Defensive touchdown on the fumble return by Abram Elam for the Cleveland Browns, and they regain the lead here in Jacksonville. Big day for Abram Elam in his 5th year out of Kent State. Earlier he had an interception on the trick play, the pass by Maurice Jones-Drew. That time he forced the fumble from Maurice Jones-Drew and then returned it for a touchdown. So the Browns lead it 14-10, 11-14 left to go in the 3rd. Underwood at the 1. Stumbles forward to about the 17-yard line. And let's take another look, Rich, at the fumble.
Yeah, the ball is definitely out. And see as Maurice Jones-Drew comes up in here, Elam's starting to grab at it, but just keep an eye on the ground. You're going to see the ball. It's already out. And he is up and running. Just watch right now. See the ball? It's already on the ground.
And that's why there was no challenge from Jack Del Rio. So the Jags will go back to work. 1st and 10 from their own 17-yard line, setting up the screen to Maurice Jones-Drew. And And he gets it out to the 23-yard line.
Well, turnovers have been a problem for this offense all season, Bill. They've turned it over twice today. They were -6 coming into today's game. 16 offensive turnovers. And you know, we talk about needing to take better care of the football. Those turnovers have resulted in 86 points for the opponents. I believe that's the most in football right now.
Browns defense has improved from a year ago. They ranked next to last in the league last year. They brought in some veterans during the offseason. They've given up only 20.2 points a game this year, 10th in the league. That is caught. Someone loses a helmet, and close to a first down is Mike Thomas. Elam made the stop. Well, you can build your own football dynasty and compete year-round with CBSSports.com franchise football. Find out more at CBSSports.com/franchise. That moves the chains to the 27-yard line. 1st and 10 for Jacksonville. They trail it now, 14-10. Just under 10 minutes left in the third. Offset eye. Give it to Maurice Jones-Drew, who cuts it back. Rich, he makes so many yards in the cutback. Always able to find a seam and pick up 4 or 5.
And what did Eric Mangini tell us last night? He says we got to do a good job on the backside of runs because MJD is such a good cutback runner. We have to be patient, we have to be disciplined, and we have to stay in our gaps because he will wind it back at any time.
2nd and 6 for Jacksonville. Trying to regroup after that quick touchdown and the fumble return by Cleveland. Rashad Jennings is in the game. Garrard to the sideline. The defender had fallen down. Mike Thomas was the intended receiver, but he was well out of bounds. It'll be 3rd and 6.
And I talk about indecision, Bill. Watch David Garrard in the pocket here. I mean, he's good protection. The receiver's open downfield, but watch how many extra hitches. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4. The delay right there. The ball has to come out on time. We talk about if you wait, you're late. Right now, David Garrard not getting the ball out quick enough.
Well, we asked him about his numbers over the last few games. He said one of the things he's been doing is getting the ball out quicker. But not that time. 3rd and 6 for Jacksonville. With time, little hitch there, got rid of it. And it will depend on the spot. Mercedes Lewis is close to a first down.
They're going to be just short, I think. And Jack Del Rio has gone for it a lot in this situation. They've already gone for it 14 times on 4th down. I'm going to go for it here. Trailing 14-10.
Bring in the jumbo package.
Boy, if you don't get it here.
It'll be great field position for the Cleveland Browns.
And they bring in their heavy people along that defensive front. You got Sean Rogers in the game and Kaba Rubin. They're difficult to move inside. They will crowd that line of scrimmage.
First, they're going to measure just to make sure.
They're about a half-yard short. Not even. Foot.
So Zach Potter has checked in as well, along with Mercedes Lewis. Greg Jones, the big fullback.
Well, they like the quarterback sneak here with David Garrard. They do that a lot in this situation on 4th and short. He's a big, strong quarterback. Got to be thinking hard count or quarterback sneak in this situation.
Going for it, as you said, 14 times. Been successful 7. What does Rob Ryan have dialed up? Big 4th down play here for Jacksonville. Maurice Jones-Drew powers forward. Looks like he has it by a yard. Comfortable margin.
Or you could give it to the smallest guy on your team and let him try and get it.
5'7", but he's 5'7" in every direction.
Yes. He's got some big, thick thighs, and he can run with some power. Good job by that Jacksonville offensive line getting some movement there.
Spotted at the 39-yard line, 1st and 10. Just under 70 yards for number 32. But he's had a tough day. A fumble return for a touchdown, and he's thrown an interception on a trick play. Rashad Jennings is in the game. Goes out into the pattern. Intended for Thomas, up in the air, intercepted! T.J. Ward! His first NFL interception. And another big play by the Cleveland defense.
Well, going all the way back to his first preseason game against the Packers, TJ Ward is a player that really stood out to me. Already their leading tackler. He's always around the ball, and he has one speed, and that's all out. Again, deep throw down the field. This one's got to be caught. A tip ball there. Sheldon Brown might have gotten a hand on it, and TJ Ward is right there to make the play. You can't miss him on the back shoulder.
So 1st and 10 for Cleveland in Jacksonville territory at the Jaguars' 48-yard line. They already lead 14-10. Just under 7.5 minutes left to go. Hillis, left side. Powerful runner down to the 45-yard line.
Well, here's where your defense needs to get a stop. We talked about points off of turnovers. Your defense goes out there in a short field. They have to find a way to get a 3 and out.
Hillis played at Arkansas, where he was overshadowed by Felix Jones and Darren McFadden, but he left the Razorbacks with over 2,600 all-purpose yards and 23 touchdowns. He caught the attention of the Broncos, who drafted him in the 7th round in 2008 and then let him go in the Brady Quinn trade. Maybe a yard. Tuesday on CBS, an NCIS safe house is attacked, and now the hunt is on for a traitor. Mark Harmon stars in TV's #1 show, NCIS, Tuesday, only on CBS, America's most watched network. 3rd and 6 as the Jacksonville defense tries to respond after the turnover.
That's a big play here, Bill. Talk about a 3 and out. This would be huge for this Jacksonville defense.
They have to get it down to the 38-yard line for a 1st down.
Man-to-man coverage.
McCoy tries to buy some time. He's sacked. Terrific coverage by the Jacksonville secondary. Much maligned, but they stepped up there.
Well, they're doing a nice job holding on in the back end and getting some pressure up front and forcing Colt McCoy to move off the spot. You're going to see Smith here. He just comes off. Colt McCoy has nowhere to throw it downfield. A coverage sack by that Jacksonville defense.
And it was the veteran Darryl Smith who brought Colt McCoy down. Thomas ready to field the punt at the 9. And able to get it back to the 10. So 5:32 left to go in the 3rd. That was a 43-yard punt. 14-10, Jacksonville. Nice defensive stand by Jacksonville. They trail it 14-10. Jones Drew brought down hard at the 14-yard line by William Middleton. And turnovers, the story of the day so far for Jacksonville.
Well, it's been the story of the season, really. You think about it for Jacksonville. And again, a poor decision by Maurice Jones-Drew to throw that football. And then he puts it on the ground here. Abram making a number of big plays. And then David Garrard, back shoulder throw, not good enough. And TJ Ward right there to make the interception.
2nd down from the Jacksonville 14-yard line. Garrard rolling to his right to find the open man, and does. Thomas has a 1st down. Well, this week, Dave's all new with Jerry Seinfeld and Medal of Honor recipient Staff Sergeant Sal Junta. Plus tomorrow, Jessica Simpson. That's followed by Greg Ferguson, only on CBS, America's #1 network.
Jessica's getting married, isn't she?
You know, I'm not up to date on that.
I think she is.
15 yards on the previous play.
Nice job here, moving the pocket, getting David Garrard out on the edge. He throws the ball very well on the move, and Mike Thomas making himself available on the boundary.
5 catches, 36 yards for Thomas. Showing blitz, and here they come up the middle, and Garrard able to escape somehow and gets rid of it.
Well, Kenyon Coleman ought to know better. You try and tackle a quarterback like David, he just gave up, he just gave away a sack there. If you try and tackle him up high, he is so strong, he has the ability to work right out of them sacks.
Coleman with 1 sack already, and the quarterback comparison, also the running backs. 2nd and 10 for Jacksonville. Just under 4.5 minutes left in the third. Reese Jones-Drew. Stutter step out to the 35-yard line. Shawn Rogers, the three-time Pro Bowler, Big Baby, made the stop.
Could you imagine? Big Baby against Mojo. There's got to be a difference of about 150 pounds there. You see, Shawn Rogers is tough to move in the middle of that defense.
10th year out of Texas.
Put him in there with Rubin. That's a pretty good 1-2 punch.
On top of Rubin is starting to be a force inside defensively for Cleveland. Had a career high 9 tackles last week. Gerard on third down. And picked off! Joe Hayden, the rookie. Ball is loose. He fumbles, but Cleveland got it back.
Well, that's devastating. Really devastating. Bill, I talked about the indecision. You're going to see it again here from Gerard late down the middle. A quarterback like David should know better. See Osgood, he's just working across the middle of the field, and look, there's a number of defenders there waiting for that. You don't know if that was going to go to Osgood or the receiver on the other side. Good effort here by Osgood, stripping it.
Chris Gokong was able to recover the fumble after the interception. Cleveland retains possession.
Gerard
was punished. So big opportunity for the Browns, already leading 14-10. Hillis fights his way for one. That could have been a loss.
Well, your defense is put in a tough spot again, and you've got to try and find a way to stop them here, hold them to a field goal, keep your team in this.
Actually lost about a half yard on the play, so second and call it a long 10. Again, the Jacksonville defense being asked to respond after a turnover.
Did a nice job the series before.
Massaquoi is the motion man. The offset eye, they give it to Hillis, stopped in the backfield, falls forward to the 20. Fired up Jacksonville defense. Kirk Morrison has him going. Duzable, the second-year man out of Central Florida, was the first man to make the stop.
Bill, I've been watching Colt McCoy's movement away from the line of scrimmage, and he doesn't look to me like he's 100%. I think he might have hurt his ankle on that sack a couple series ago. Just watch his movement. He may not be able to run as much.
Cleveland had converted 5 of their first 6 third downs, but they've been 0 for 4 since. Third and long. Here they come on the blitz from 3rd and 11. McCoy trying to set up the screen, and that may be picked off. Intercepted by Jacksonville. Don Carey, the free safety. So once again, the Jacksonville defense steps up, and they have a turnover. Or do they? We're back in Jacksonville, and the ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. And that will allow the Browns to try a field goal. Let's take another look.
Yeah, Peyton Hill's very fortunate. A high throw. Look at that. It clearly hits the ground. You see Don Carey there trying to make that play. And
The ruling on the field was an incomplete pass. 4th down.
Don Carey, who was actually the Browns' 6th-round pick last year and ended up spending his rookie year on IR, and starting at free safety for Jacksonville. So an incomplete pass. And now we've got Phil Dawson on to try a 38-yard field goal. And he got it just inside the uprights. So a 7-point Cleveland lead with 1:50 left to go in the third.
if Cleveland winds up losing this game, they're going to think back to those last 2 offensive possessions where they got great field position off of turnovers, and they're only able to come away with 3 points. On the flip side, you really got to give some credit to Jack Del Rio and this Jacksonville defense. They've gone 3 and out twice, after turning the football over and really have kept themselves in this game because they played great defense down in the scoring zone.
Jaguars did a good job shutting down the Houston running game last week. Arian Foster came in as the NFL's leading rusher, and he was held to just 56 yards. Giving up 49 on 17 carries today to Peyton Hillis.
Well, bad things happen, Bill, when you can't put a football team away. I've been in too many games over the years where you let a team like Jacksonville hang around. That's what happened to them last week. And you know, you think about Houston losing that game there at the end. Got to find a way to finish teams off in the second half.
Taquan Underwood is standing 3 yards deep in his own end zone. Waiting the kickoff by Dawson. Fielded at the 4. Underwood. Out across the 25-yard line to the 26. And once again, let's check in with JB in New York for an update.
Hey, Bill and Rich, the Jets have expanded their lead to 13 as Mark Sanchez with his second touchdown of the game, hooking up with Santonio Holmes. 41 yards, Bill, capping a 9-play, 92-yard drive, 20-7 Jets on top. Bill and Rich.
All right, JB, thank you. Houston, of course, lost here last week in Jacksonville on the Hail Mary, while the Jets won late in overtime at Cleveland.
Santonio Holmes really starting to make some plays and making an impact for the Jets in the passing game.
Costanzo being helped up. Blake Costanzo, backup linebacker.
Well, it's a great special teams players, and their coverage units have been outstanding all year. Oh, it looks maybe like a groin. And that can be very painful. You see him limping there. They are #1 in kickoff coverage and punt coverage units, and a big reason why is Blake Costanzo. He's been outstanding. Ed Seeley does a really good job with the special teams here in Cleveland.
So Jacksonville down by 7 here late in the third. 1st and 10 from the 26-yard line. Garrard gets rid of it. Nice catch for a first down. Zach Miller, another nice play.
There's another quarterback that likes to work the tight ends off of play action, and Zach Miller on Eric Barton, that's the mismatch. That's where they want to go after. These tight ends matched up on these linebackers and safeties, they feel like they can win that battle all day.
Jacksonville trying to get something going in the third quarter so far. A punt, a fumble, and 2 interceptions. Garrard. Miller again. Out of bounds at about the 43-yard line. Bowens made the stop.
I really think for this team to ever win the division, they're going to need David Garrard to play lights out the rest of the way. And you can't have games like he did earlier in the season against San Diego and Philadelphia. Consistency is the key for him. And in talking to Jack Del Rio, I get the sense he's under the microscope. This second half of the season, very important for David Garrard.
He's spotted at the 44-yard line, 2nd and 5. Bruce Jones-Drew. Stop for a loss of 1. Ryan Schafering led the charge to make the stop. Take a look at the last 4 possessions. The punt, fumble, interception, interception.
Yeah, ugly. You know, you think about 3 plays, 1 play. I mean, it's demoralizing to an offense. Your defense is playing a lot of snaps here in the second half, and somebody's got to take over this game for Jacksonville. Somebody's got to make a play to get them back in this.
Well, that's going to be the end of the third quarter with the score of Cleveland 17, Jacksonville 10. We'll return to Jacksonville after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Welcome back to Jacksonville and the NFL on CBS, where more people watch the NFL this season than any other network. Ready to start the final quarter. Jacksonville 3rd and 5 from their own 44-yard line. Garrard from the shotgun. He's going to run it. Ball is loose, and another turnover for the Cleveland defense. Chris Gokong, his 2nd fumble recovery.
That's brutal. They run a quarterback draw in that situation. I like the call because you know that they'll go for it on 4th down at the midfield if they don't get it. Got to take care of it right here. Nice hit in the hole. Looks like Ray Ventrone and Chris Gokong right there to scoop it up. Another turnover by this Cleveland defense.
And David Garrard slow leaving the field. May have tweaked an ankle. So Cleveland takes over at their own 43-yard line. 1st and 10. Just underway here in the 4th. Browns lead it 17-10. Colt McCoy under pressure. Can't get away this time. A sack. Derek Harvey. And that has to be encouraging for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Harvey lost his starting job at defensive end, the former 1st-round pick.
Well, he's just going to beat him around the edge, and you mentioned it, Bill. The pass rush has been a bit of a problem, but when you put a back like Peyton Hillis on Harvey, he's going to win that one every time. On 1st down, you got to be smart. That ball has to come out.
Garrard being treated on the sideline. We'll keep an eye on his progress. Trent Edwards, you saw him warming up. McCoy on 2nd and long, under pressure. Brown wants a hold, but no flags.
3 straight turnovers by their offense. They go out on the field, and it looks like they're going to go 3 straight series where they go 3 and out.
Pressure the previous play by Derek Harvey and Rasheed Mathis.
They have done their part here today.
3rd and 17. McCoy back in the shotgun, standing at his own 31. Give it to Hillis on the delay. And he'll be driven out of bounds well short of a 1st down. Browns are going to have to punt. Derek Cox made the stop.
Cleveland offensively, they can't get anything going, and the thing that's really killing them is the negative plays on 1st down.
We'll see if David Garrard is healthy enough to come back in.
We need a big play somewhere. Maybe in the special, maybe in the return game. Need something to get him going.
Thomas standing back at his own 9-yard line.
That's the low one.
Yep, he'll have a chance to return this in the 16. A nice special teams coverage by Cleveland. Brought down at the 24-yard line by Nick Sorensen after a 42-yard punt. And an 8-yard return. Garrard will go back in. David Garrard set to go. 5 turnovers by Jacksonville, but they trail by just 7, and that's a testament to the Jacksonville defense. Bruce Jones-Drew gets to the edge, tries to turn it up. Knocked out of bounds at the 29-yard line.
They do a nice job sealing the edge, and of course get Maurice Jones-Drew out on the corner.
Good block by Jordan Black, the right tackle. Stepped in and played well when Evan Britton went down. Pick up a 5, 2nd and 5 for Jacksonville. Offset eye. Maurice Jones-Drew, the deep back. They give it to Maurice Jones-Drew, left side. Dragging tacklers for extra yardage. Tremendous second effort. Finally, big Matt Roth brought him down.
Well, they're doing a good job at offensive line, getting movement up front. You're just going to see MJD just going to run it to the left side. They get a good double team there, and of course, the linemen come off and get ahead on some of these linebackers, and you see him right there trying to push the pile forward.
Owens was on his back, and Jones-Drew just kept driving. 1st and 10 for Jacksonville. Just over 12 minutes to go. Again, they go to 32. And he is stacked up at the 41-yard line.
Running to Schaefering's there.
Schaefering had 2nd year out of Linwood. He started all 5 games at defensive end since Robert Smith went on IR.
Well, if you're Dirk Cutter, the offensive coordinator in Jacksonville, you got to give me your best stuff. I mean, this is an important possession for this offense. talked about the 5 turnovers. 3 straight possessions where they've turned the football over. Their defense is playing a lot here in the second half.
Schifrin banged up. Derek Robinson is checked in. 2nd and 8. Garrard, middle of the field, up in the air, intercepted. Oh my goodness! T.J. Ward with his 2nd interception of the game.
And Bill, another assist by Sheldon Brown, very similar to the last interception we saw from David Garrard. You're going to watch. He's being covered by Sheldon Brown. Now watch. He's going to jump right in front of this, and he gets a hand on it, and T.J. Ward is right there to make the pick. And that's what you want. You want one of your better corners, your cover corners, Sheldon Brown, covering a tight end like Mercedes Lewis.
Well, Sheldon Brown was dinged up last week, but he told Eric Mangini that he was going to play today. He's got a streak going of playing every single game since he came into the league, and he was going to get out there. Makes a key play there. Ward with the interception. The Browns take over in Jacksonville territory, and can this defense respond again? They did on 1st down, a loss of 2.
And Bill, if I'm coaching the quarterback here in Jacksonville, I am going to be critical of those last 2 interceptions because it's all about location. And he's missed a little bit on both of them. He's thrown them behind the receivers. You got to get that out in front of them, particularly a guy like Mercedes Lewis.
And Jacksonville with turnovers in their last 5 possessions. 2nd and 10. Hillis still owns setback. Massaquoi was the motion man. They run the toss sweep. Hillis tries to cut it back inside and gets it down to the 33-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd down.
Well, you just keep your fingers crossed if you're Jacksonville, hoping this defense can go 4 straight series now where they get another stop. But they've been playing a lot of snaps.
And Cleveland, for their last 6 on 3rd down.
And you can see Jack Del Rio right there calling the defenses. He has taken over the play calling duties since the start of the season. He is more involved in the game plan defensively.
Facing another 3rd and long, 3rd and 8 for Cleveland. Jaguars, here they come on the blitz. McCoy able to get rid of it, incomplete. Robisky could not haul it in. Got his hands on it, but couldn't come down with the football. So 4th down.
Well, this is a little late coming out. You're going to see an extra hits there. Really good coverage there by Derek Cox.
4th and 8, and Phil Dawson on to try a 51-yard field goal.
There's a little wind coming from our left to right. This isn't a gimme.
Into Dawson's face. Career long of 56 yards to beat Buffalo back in 08.
Oh yeah, the wind got it.
No good. Short and right from 51 yards, and again, the Jacksonville defense steps up. Still a 7-point game. Just under 10 minutes to go, and Rich, you can't say enough about this Jacksonville defense keeping the Jaguars in this football game as they take over 1st and 10 from their own 41-yard line. Down 17 to 10 after 5 straight turnovers on offense. Garrard.
Oh, double move, they got him.
Thomas had to slow down and incomplete. He had 4 or 5 steps on Joe Hayden, but the ball hung up in the air.
Well, that's too bad. They had him wide open. Better throw here, gets it done. Off the play action, have a double move. Mike Thomas runs right by Joe Hayden, and Mike has to slow down for this one. Great job, good recovery speed here by Joe Hayden, making a play on the football, but boy, a better throw there, and they score a touchdown.
Eric Wright was injured early in the game. He has not returned with a knee injury. Hayden has stepped in, the rookie, the 7th overall pick in this year's draft. That is complete. Taquan Underwood now to the 48-yard line. We'll bring up 3rd down.
Boy, you can't throw that ball far enough on the previous play. And Bill, I'm ready to leave the broadcast booth. I really am. I'm ready to leave the broadcast booth and go down in the huddle and take it from here. I mean, somebody's got to make a play. Your defense is playing lights out. They're keeping you in this football game, and they refuse to get a third down conversion and score some points. It's amazing.
Just over 9 minutes remaining. Maurice Jones-Drew on 3rd and 3. And it looks like he's got it. Just more tough running from number 32 in his 5th year out of UCLA. 2nd round pick in 06. Looking for his 3rd straight 100-yard game.
Well, I listened to some of Jack Del Rio's comments earlier this week. He said this whole thing hinges on the quarterback. He really orchestrates this offense. If he plays well, we usually win. He's got to play better here late in this game. They're still in it.
Down by 7. Corner blitz. Here they come. Garrard, and he's going to be sacked. Brought down hard by Ataba Rubin. And once again, let's check in with JB in New York for an update.
Hey, Bill and Rich. Bill Cowher will have something to say about this one, pleasantly so. Take a look at Brian St. Pierre up top to David Geddes. 88-yard scoring play last week, a stay-at-home dad. This week, a nice NFL play on his resume. 20-13 Baltimore on top in the 4th. Bill and Rich.
That's surprisingly close. Thanks, JB. Carolina's the only team in the league the Ravens have never beaten. The Panthers are 3-0 against them. Jacksonville after the loss of 8 on the sack. 2nd and 18. 4 wide receivers in the game for the Jags. Garrard, plenty of time. Mercedes Lewis still on his feet. A 1st down. Spins his way down into Cleveland territory to the 41-yard line. Abram Elam finally made the stop.
Well, that is huge. You have a 2nd and 18. You're able to find your tight end, Mercedes Lewis, on a little shallow cross and let this big man go to work. But now you've put yourself in a position where you have a chance on 3rd down.
So 3rd and call it a long 3 after the pickup of 15 yards. John Potter has checked in. Another tight end in the game. You'd think this is 4-down territory. Jennings inside the 40, down to the 39-yard line, and that will bring up 4th down.
Bill, you're exactly right, and that's why they run that play, knowing that they're going to go for it on 4th down. They have two downs to make 3 yards. Well, they converted an earlier 4th and 1 by running Maurice Jones-Drew behind the right side of that offensive line. See if they come back here with the very same play.
Jumbo package.
Oh, they shift out. This is where they've snuck it a lot with the quarterback.
And Cleveland takes a timeout. So timeout on the field. 6:17 left. It's a 7-point game. Jack Del Rio not afraid to go for it on 4th down. He's already converted 1 today. Rob Ryan, what does he have dialed up after the timeout? Toss it back to Maurice Jones-Drew. Gets to the edge, a 1st down for Jacksonville. That'll move the chains. Good block by Jordan Black, the right tackle.
Well, Bill, you and I were talking during the break that didn't think they would come back with the very same play, but they come back with the toss to MJD. Get him out on the edge, pull the tackle. Nice job by the fullback. And let MJD go to work.
And that puts Maurice Jones-Drew over 100 yards for the 3rd straight game.
I always say in critical times, don't think about plays, but think about players. Getting the ball into the hands of the guys that can help you win games.
Maurice Jones-Drew wearing him down now. Close to the 26-yard line.
And that's what I'm talking about. Not so much about plays, but about players. Who can win the game for you in this situation? And I think it's 32. Find ways to get him the ball. You see Rob Ryan right there. He needs his defense to make a stop.
Well, he's done everything you could want from your defensive coordinator. And those guys on the field have gotten it done. 5 straight turnovers. And yet Jacksonville is threatening to at least tie the game here. Just over 5 minutes remaining. Maurice Jones-Drew finds a seam. Maurice Jones-Drew down to the 5. Abram Elam saved the touchdown. 22 yards.
Well, we talked about Maurice Jones-Drew, Bill, being a good cutback runner. And you're going to see it. He's going to come right back into this backside A-gap. And Cleveland does not do a good enough job sealing it. You've got to be able to come off of blocks. And once he gets into the secondary, he is tough to bring down. But that backside cutoff, we know he's going to wind runs back. You got to be patient. You have to stay in your gap, and you have to be disciplined.
First and goal for Jacksonville. And the Browns take a timeout. 4:24 left to play. Jacksonville is threatening. Cleveland took a timeout because they had 12 men on the field.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem. You know, you got too many guys on the field that they have to waste a timeout. It's a second timeout this possession.
One timeout remaining for the Browns. Garrard on first and goal. And he's going to be sacked. Timely defensive play by Cleveland. Sean Rogers, Matt Roth combined for the sack.
Well, Bill, you mentioned a timely play by Cleveland, a poor decision by David Garrard. In this situation, it's 1st and 10. Your coordinator's giving you a chance here in the red zone. Throw the football away. You can't take a sack in this part of the field. That's just not understanding situational football. That shouldn't happen with the veteran quarterback.
So they spotted back at the 14-yard line. 2nd and goal. Cleveland leads by 7. Garrard with plenty of time. Incomplete. In and out of the hands of Tyquan Underwood. And it'll be 3rd and goal for Jacksonville.
Well, Sheldon Brown knows that he has help inside by T.J. Ward. He's going to carry him, and then he passes him off. But, boy, a good throw here gets it done. He's got to make this catch on the boundary. Bill, we saw him drop a pass earlier today. That's 2 out of Underwood.
And Underwood started today for Mike Sims-Walker, who's down with an ankle. Inactive.
Look at that, 5 drop passes today at critical times in the ball game as well.
12th play of the drive coming. 3rd and goal for Jacksonville. Garrard, middle of the field, touchdown! Mercedes Lewis, and he has been money.
Well, that's his 8th touchdown this year, and all of them have come in the red zone. And what did Eric Mangini tell us last night? They are concerned about the matchups that we have against the big tight end. You're going to see Ray Ventrone. He's matched up on Mercedes Lewis. David Garrard is going to give his big tight end a chance right here. Nice job extending the ball over the goal line.
Josh Scobie on to tie it up with 3:34 left. And we're even at 17. And how often do you see a team with 6 turnovers hang around like this?
Well, you talk about a size matchup, and Mercedes Lewis is 6'7". Ray Ventrone is 5'10". And David Garrard has a lot of confidence in his tight end right now in this part of the field.
8th touchdown of the year for Mercedes Lewis. And don't forget, coming next, the game you've been waiting for is Peyton and the Colts renew their red-hot rivalry with Tom Brady and the Patriots. More people watch the NFL on CBS this season than any other network, and that is a good one coming up here on a doubleheader Sunday, the NFL on CBS. Mercedes Lewis, we talked about him being such a weapon for Jacksonville on 3rd down and in the red zone. 5th year out of UCLA, 1st-round pick in 2006. Cleveland with only 1 timeout remaining. Jacksonville has all 3. So here we go. Colts have, the Browns rather have been quiet on offense. Let's see if Colt McCoy can bring him down. Remember, he marched him down the field a week ago to tie it up against the Jets. Smith 3 yards deep in the end zone and wisely takes a knee. So they'll bring it out to the 20. And the Jacksonville defense, Rich, has stepped up all day long.
Well, they've done a nice job getting pressure on the quarterback. It started with Pat Rose, and then Alu, he gets a big sack. It's come from every different direction. They brought it from linebackers, from the safeties. You see Smith there, he's the leading tackler. They have done a nice job getting Colt McCoy off the spot, making him move and throw the ball outside the pocket. But the job that they have done the last 4 possessions getting off the field has been huge for Jacksonville.
And what he did a week ago, he responded by leading the Browns down the field with that game-tying drive against the Jets. Flush from the pocket, directing traffic, lofts it deep, and that is caught. Evan Moore with another big play for Cleveland.
Well, Evan Moore, he's like a receiver out there. You're going to see Courtney Green. He does a nice job in coverage. He's going to pass it off to the safety. And the safety takes a peek into the backfield. You see Courtney Green, he's got his eyes in the backfield, and he lets Evan Moore walk right up the boundary.
A gain of 38 yards. McCoy tipped, incomplete. Was trying to hit Peyton Hillis. Tyson Alu, the rookie, first-round pick, 10th pick overall in the draft last April, was able to get a paw on it.
Well, Colt McCoy, Bill, has handled himself rather nicely the last month. He's really responded in just about every situation. You think back to that 2-minute situation last week at home against the Jets. Another opportunity late in the game to bring his team back and put Jacksonville away.
From on the corner blitz, they read it. Stuckey still on his feet and out of bounds. Chancey Stuckey close to the 35-yard line.
You think about Chancey Stuckey and the play that he made last week where he put the ball on the ground and gave the Jets a chance to come back and win it. You just hope they learn from the mistakes from the previous week. But we talk about numbers and how important they are in a football game. When you turn the ball over 6 times, your chances of winning are less than 5%, and yet Jacksonville is still hanging around.
3rd and 4 for Cleveland. 1 timeout remaining. 3:14 left. McCoy in trouble. Flush from the pocket, able to keep his feet. He's got a first down and more. And how about this rookie? Comes up limping after being pushed out of bounds.
Well, he's hurting and goes back to that sack in the 3rd quarter. He has not been 100% here, but what a great effort by Colt McCoy. He knows he doesn't have it. He pulls down. Now watch him kick out of this tackle right here and try to get out of bounds.
And that was good for 18 yards.
Well, he's really hurting.
Well, you talk about earning the respect of your teammates.
Well, now
and this is exactly the kind of thing that does it.
Well, now they got a problem. They're going to have a delay of game here. They can't get this one off inside 3 seconds. 2, yep. And they got to use their last timeout. Well, they have not done a very good job managing their timeouts here, Bill, in the second half.
So no timeouts remaining for the Cleveland Browns. Tied at 17, and again coming next, the game you've been waiting for. Peyton and the Colts renew that great rivalry. Tom Brady and the Patriots. More people watch the NFL on CBS this season than any other network, and that is a good one.
You got to look at Jake Delhomme. He came out on the field. He's actually the 3rd quarterback today. You're going to see Seneca Wallace right there, and he is the 2nd quarterback. All 3 of these quarterbacks in Cleveland have had ankle injuries this season. Delhomme hurt his in week 1. Seneca Wallace about 5 weeks ago, and then today looks like Colt McCoy's hobbling around a little bit.
Well, they are well within field goal range now. Just over 3 minutes remaining. Offset eye. Hillis is the deep back, and they give it to number 40. That was great penetration by Kirk Morrison, the middle linebacker, the former Raider, who spent his whole life in the Bay Area before coming here to Jacksonville for a 4th-round pick last April.
You mentioned Kirk Morrison. He filled that hole quickly.
Jacksonville takes a timeout. Still 2 left. They're thinking about the other side of what they hope is a field goal, giving themselves a little more time. Tough overtime for the Browns last week against the Jets. The Browns are driving. And you mentioned this earlier, Chancey Stuckey trying to get some extra yards, and he turned the ball over the 36-yard line. The Jets recovered, and with only 24 seconds left in the overtime period, Mark Sanchez hit Santonio Holmes on a slant for a 37-yard touchdown.
Yeah, really, 3 players in a position to make a tackle there, and all 3 missed. A little indecision is all it takes. And as we always say, there's such a fine line between winning and losing.
Browns came in at 3-6, but in just about every ball game. 2nd and 10, Hillis to the 16-yard line.
On the carry. Stop by number 94.
Jacksonville will take another timeout. 2:55 left. Dawson, the Browns' all-time leading kicker, who passed the legendary Lou Groza earlier this year.
You know, it's amazing to think of it, you know, Bill, if they can get another stop here, that'd be 5 straight stops by this defense. Hold them to a field goal and give your offense plenty of time to go down the field and either win this game or tie it up.
Even at 17, 2:55 remaining.
Well, Colt McCoy's got to be smart in this situation. Don't want to sack, obviously can't turn the football over. If it's not there, you got to throw it away. You're going to get a shot, though. Look at this. You got some one-on-one matchups right up the top of the screen here as well.
3rd and 8. Jacksonville showing blitz. And they bring everybody, and
can't do that.
McCoy sacked.
Well, you've got to give those receivers a chance to make a play on the outside.
Jeremy Mincy has done a fine job at defensive end.
Yeah, he's really done a nice job. They're going to just work the right side of this defensive line. Joe Thomas steps out. Little communication issue there between Steinbach and Thomas. Didn't do a nice enough job or a clean enough job passing that off.
Jacksonville taking their last time out. Jack Del Rio doing a good job managing the timeouts. 2:51 left. So Dawson, this field goal will be a try of about 41 yards. He has been solid throughout his career.
Well, this is the same end zone he missed before, Bill. It's just that wind swirling. You can feel it up here in the broadcast booth from left to right.
And gusting a little bit. To take the lead.
Right down the middle.
Perfect. Dawson with the clutch field goal. And the Jaguars will have 2 minutes and 46 seconds to respond. Of course, last week against Houston with the score tied at 24, 3 seconds left. Gerard with the Hail Mary was knocked into the hands of Mike Thomas, who walked into the end zone with no time left, and it was a remarkable conclusion as the Jaguars beat the Texans 31-24.
You know, Bill, I played 17 years, and I was never fortunate enough to have that type of outcome. It usually winds up in the hands of the defensive players. They were very fortunate in that situation.
Well, the Jaguars got a call from the NFL Hall of Fame on Monday to get the ball and Mike Thomas's jersey and gloves. So Thomas will be the first Jacksonville Jaguar ever to be featured in an exhibit in Canton. But that a distant memory as the Jaguars now try to respond down by 3. No timeouts remaining. They do have the 2-minute warning. Underwood back deep, standing 2 yards deep in his own end zone. Fields it, bobbles it at the 5. Able to come up with it. And brought down at the 13-yard line. So it will be a long field for Jacksonville.
That's not what they needed. That is not what they were hoping for. Another T.J. Ward. He's had some big plays today, 2 interceptions. He's been all over the field in this Cleveland defense.
So let's see what the Jaguars can do. Trailing 20-17 from their own 13-yard line.
Well, David Garrard's just got to be smart in this situation. Throwing the ball away, not the end of the world. You cannot take a sack.
Showing blitz, and here they come off the edge. They pick it up. Garrard, he's going to go up top. Underwood overthrows everybody.
Well, he had plenty of wind behind him that time. He wasn't going to be short on that one. I've really been impressed. Get a good look at Joe Hayden. He has played really well here in this football game. He has got very good speed, and he makes a lot of plays in the open field. He's not going to let anyone run by him.
Eric Wright left the game early with a knee injury. Hayden taking over, so 2nd and 10 for Jacksonville. 2:32 left. Garrard deep out, and that's caught by Kasim Osgood.
David Garrard pass complete to number 81, Kasim Osgood. Gain of 11 yards. Good for
Scobie's got a big leg. Had that walk-off 59-yarder at the gun to beat the Colts in Week 4.
He's also got that wind behind him too, Bill. He's got plenty of leg. We watched him in warm-ups.
Spotted at the 24-yard line. 2:27 left. Garrard from the shotgun. Misdirection. Set up the screen to Maurice Jones-Drew. Cuts it back to the center of the field. Still on his feet. Oh my goodness, Maurice Jones-Drew. Just short of the goal line. Wow, what a play.
Unbelievable. They're going to fake the screen up top, and then they kick it right back down the other way to Maurice Jones-Drew. We talk about running through arm tackles. This guy you're not going to bring down with an arm tackle. Just a great open field play by Maurice Jones-Drew.
75 yards. We're back in Jacksonville. Another huge play late for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They've got it 1st and goal. Jennings. No signal.
I think his knee was down.
Short of the goal line.
It shows you kind of the respect they have for that defensive line up inside. They try and toss the ball on the edge to Jennings. Good penetration right here by Bowens. Yeah, his right knee is down. That's a good call. Very good call by the official.
So Maurice Jones-Drew has checked back in. 132 yards rushing for number 32. 87 yards receiving. Touchdown. And that was stunning.
You can see the disgust on Eric Mangini. Well, you see good penetration right there. Nice job by the fullback. You have him right here, but watch Maurice Jones-Drew just keeps driving those legs. Does a nice job right there at the end, reaching that ball over the goal line.
Inside of 2 minutes, so they're going to take a look up in the booth. For the moment, 23-20, Jacksonville.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
Maurice Jones-Drew.
Yeah, once he gets in the pile, it's really hard to tell. You can see right there, does a nice job extending the ball. Ball's clearly over the goal line there. Oh, yeah, he's definitely in. You see that ball come out, though.
Scobie on to make it a 4-point margin with the extra point. Boots it through. 24-20, 1:16 left to go.
And then it gets back to those timeouts, Bill, that Cleveland burnt in the fourth quarter. They have no timeouts left to go the length of the field and get a touchdown to win this.
And they don't have one of their big weapons on special teams. Josh Cribbs didn't even make the trip here to Jacksonville. So, again, coming up next, the game you've been waiting for, Peyton and the Colts. Renew their red-hot rivalry of Tom Brady and the Pats. That's coming up next on this great doubleheader Sunday here on CBS, as more people watch the NFL on CBS this season than any other network.
Well, you think about this game, painful lessons to learn if Cleveland's not able to find a way to win this one. Offensively, Cleveland did a nice job today taking care of the football. The one thing they didn't do is take advantage of opportunities in the second half. Jacksonville had 5 straight possessions where they turned the football over, and they failed to capitalize on them.
I mean, how often do you see a team -6 in turnovers and win the ball game?
Bill, if you're a -3 since 2000, you usually lose 90% of the games. 90% when you're a -3. That's going back to 2000 during the regular season. They're a -6 today. A -6.
Clifton Smith is the deep man, former Pro Bowl returner with Tampa Bay back in 2008. And that's a great kick. He's thought about bringing it out and takes a knee. Colt McCoy. What does this rookie have left? Hobbled on the previous series. Take a look at our game summary.
Well, you let a team like this hang around, and Indianapolis found out in a painful way. Houston found out last week, and it looks like Cleveland's going to find out this week. Jacksonville, they don't have a lot of quit in them. They didn't play very good football on offense, but they did just enough.
Jacksonville has been able to win their close games this year, including the 2 on the final play. Last week, one of them. And that's caught. Massaquoi with a nice pickup on first down.
Well, they really got to hustle.
Browns will get up to the line of scrimmage in a hurry. Clock running. 1 minute remaining. That was a pickup of 17 yards. Jacksonville showing blitz. Here they come. McCoy gets rid of it.
Well, you got to clock it here. Have to clock it.
Massaquoi again with the reception. Close to midfield.
Well, you're better off clocking it.
That was a pickup of 13.
I see they wasted a lot of time here, Bill.
Inside of 40 seconds. They need a touchdown. McCoy, Stuckey, can't get out of bounds. Clock continues to run.
Got to clock it. Well, they should have done that to play before.
18 seconds left. Again, a field goal won't help them.
Well, you'd like to be able to pick up half of it here and then give yourself a couple shots at the end zone. You think about Jacksonville, they're very aware of that Hail Mary last week defensively. They've talked in their meeting rooms all week about what they should do in this very situation. In fact, you and I talked to Jack Del Rio about it. Do you knock it down? Do you intercept it?
Well, the Jags were on the other end of things in 2002. Tim Counts threw a 50-yard touchdown pass to Quincy Morgan on the last play of the game. McCoy, that's caught. Evan Moore. And that quiets the crowd, able to get out of bounds with 13 seconds left.
Now you got a couple shots. You have at least 2 to the end zone.
22 yards on the play.
Confusion. You've got time.
Plenty of time on the play clock. They go out of the blitz. They rush just 3. Intercepted by Jacksonville. And that will do it. Sean Considine brings in the deflection.
Jack Del Rio has done a wonderful job here today. I give a game ball to that Jacksonville defense. They have come up big time and time again here in the second half. You're going to see running down the middle of the field. Gets a tip on it. Considine does a nice job knowing that he's got help over the top from his good buddy Courtney Green. A little bit of unexpected good fortune for Sharp.
The receiver intercepted the ball, and his momentum took him into the end zone. By rule, the spot will be the ball will be placed at the spot of the interception, the 3-yard line.
So 5 seconds remaining. And what a game here in Jacksonville. One that Eric Mangini would like to forget.
Well, it's a sick feeling. Well, you played well enough to win in a number of different phases of the game. Offensively, Bill, not good enough in the second half. They couldn't take advantage of all those opportunities that their defense gave them.
Jaguars will run their record to 6-4, and a little early shower for Jack Del Rio. Our final score, Jacksonville 24, Cleveland 20. Coming up next, game 2 of the NFL and CBS doubleheader, the Colts and the Patriots. So for Rich Gannon, this is Bill McAtee. So long from Jacksonville.